I had it all: my dream car, the perfect girlfriend, the envy of everyone around me. But what happens when everything you thought you had, everything you thought you knew about yourself, shatters in an instant? One kiss. That's all it took to tear my world apart. Sarah, the girl I thought I was going to spend my life with, betrayed me in the most unimaginable way, right under my nose. And Jason, the guy everyone looked up to, didn't just steal my girlfriend, he stole everything I had built. But betrayal is a funny thing. It either breaks you or it makes you stronger. Now, as I stand on the other side of this broken relationship, something has changed in me. The guy I was, he's gone. The new me, stronger, smarter, and free. I've learned the hard way that revenge won't heal a broken heart. But self-love, that's a different kind of power. So when they both come crawling back, desperate for my forgiveness, I'll show them that the one thing they'll never take from me again is my peace. I've moved on. In the past, it's buried. Chapter 1. It's funny how, at 17, you think you've got it all figured out. I mean, I did. I was a high school senior, cruising through life without a care. Everything I'd ever wanted seemed to be right at my fingertips: Sarah, my gorgeous girlfriend, and a sports car that made every guy in school envious. My dad had bought it for me as a graduation gift, and it was everything I dreamed of. Fast, sleek, and shiny, I'd pick her up in it every afternoon after school, and we'd drive around the city, acting like we owned it. And we did. Or at least I thought we did. You're the luckiest guy in school. You know that? Chris, one of my best friends, grinned from the passenger seat as we pulled into the school parking lot. Sarah is literally perfect, man. And that car? Don't even get me started. I chuckled, brushing my hair back, trying to look even cooler than I already felt. I guess I'm just lucky, I said, but deep down, I knew I wasn't lucky. I deserved it. I'd worked hard for this life. I pulled into my usual spot in the parking lot and shut off the engine, the roar of the car's exhaust fading into the background. As I stepped out, I caught sight of Sarah waiting by the front steps. She was leaning against the railing, looking effortlessly beautiful, like she had just stepped out of a magazine. Her long brown hair cascaded over her shoulders, and her smile made the sun seem dull in comparison. "You're late," she teased as I walked over to her, wrapping my arms around her waist. "Had to give the guys a little show," I said with a wink. "You know how it is." She laughed, shaking her head. "You're insufferable." We kissed, the kind of kiss that felt like it could last forever. In that moment, I thought that nothing could tear us apart. We had everything: the perfect relationship, the perfect life. We were untouchable. Later, as I sat in class, staring out the window, I thought about how lucky I was to have Sarah. We've been together for over a year now. I remembered how we'd met at a party last summer. She caught my eye the moment I walked in, standing by the drinks table, laughing with her friends. She looked so different from the girls I usually went for, more mysterious, more intriguing. I had to talk to her. I walked up to her and introduced myself. She smiled warmly and told me her name, and from that moment, I was hooked. She was different from anyone I'd ever met: smart, funny, and effortlessly charming. It wasn't long before we started dating, and it felt like everything just clicked into place. "Hey, you still coming to the party this weekend?" Chris asked, pulling me out of my thoughts. I shrugged. "I might. I don't know. Sarah and I were planning on going out, so..." "Man, you two are always together," he said, shaking his head. "Don't get me wrong, she's awesome. But sometimes you need a break. You don't want to get too comfortable, you know?" I waved him off. "Nah, we're good. We're perfect. No one gets us like we do." I smiled to myself as the bell rang, signaling the end of the period. As I grabbed my things, I caught a glimpse of Sarah walking down the hallway. Her laugh echoed through the corridor as she joked with some of her friends. She looked over at me and smiled, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. I felt on top of the world. People looked at me with admiration, and I was with the most beautiful girl in school. What more could I want? I had everything I needed. But as I walked towards Sarah, something in the pit of my stomach felt off. It wasn't a bad feeling, but it was there. A subtle whisper, like a tiny seed of doubt being planted. "Hey, babe, I said as I reached her, leaning down to give her a kiss. She grinned, brushing her hair out of her face. Hey, I've been waiting for you. I know, I teased. Gotta keep you waiting a little. Keeps things interesting. She laughed, and I felt my chest swell with pride. Yeah, everything was perfect. No one could touch us. The rest of the day passed by in a blur of classes and half-hearted conversations. But even as Sarah and I sat together at lunch, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling. It wasn't anything she did or said. It was just a feeling. Maybe it was just me getting too comfortable. I was secure in my life, but sometimes when everything seems perfect, you start questioning if you've really earned it or if it's all just a facade. But when she smiled at me again, that doubt faded. I had everything I ever wanted. And for now, it was enough. I couldn't have known then that this moment, this feeling, would be the calm before the storm. That everything I thought I knew about my life was about to shatter into pieces. But in that instant, I believed in my own invincibility. And so did Sarah. Or at least I thought she did. I first noticed it a week ago. Sarah and I were hanging out in the cafeteria like we always did when Jason walked in. I didn't think much of it at first. He's the school hunk, after all. Always the center of attention. But something about the way Sarah looked at him that day made my stomach turn. Hey, Sarah, Jason said, his voice smooth like he had a secret that no one else knew. You still up for study group later? She smiled at him. That smile, bright and warm. Yeah, I'll be there. Can't wait. I don't know why, but the words hit me like a punch. I looked at her, but she was already turning away, her focus back on him. Jason's eyes flickered to me, but there was nothing but politeness in his gaze. It felt like I was invisible, like I didn't matter at that moment. Later that afternoon, we were at my locker, and Sarah was texting someone. Jason's name popped up on her screen, followed by a heart emoji. She quickly turned the phone away when she saw me looking. Who's that? I asked, trying to sound casual, but there was an edge to my voice that I couldn't hide. She flushed, biting her lip. Just Jason. You know, about the study session. I didn't want to forget. I nodded, but it didn't sit right with me. It felt like something was off. Every time Jason came around, Sarah's energy shifted. Her eyes lit up. She laughed a little louder, and I hated myself for feeling jealous. I trusted Sarah, I did, but why did it feel like she was pulling away? That night, I couldn't shake it. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the day. Why did I feel like Jason was always just a little too close to her? Maybe it was nothing, but I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Was I just being paranoid? I shook my head. No, I had to trust her. But deep down, I wasn't so sure anymore. I had been looking forward to tonight. I even washed the car twice, trying to make it perfect for Sarah. I was going to take her to that new Italian place downtown, the one with the twinkling lights and the perfect ambiance. I wanted to show her how much she meant to me, how much I appreciated everything we had. As I pulled up outside the school, I saw Sarah standing by the curb, texting on her phone. I smiled, ready to surprise her. But as I parked and stepped out of the car, I froze. There, inside my car, was Sarah, kissing Jason. My heart stopped. I couldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, watching them, my mind refusing to process what I was seeing. Jason's hands were tangled in her hair, and Sarah was looking up at him with an expression I didn't recognize. It was like a switch flipped inside me. My chest tightened, my breath shallow and shaky. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All I could see was them, so close, so intimate. I didn't know what to do. Anger boiled up in me, but it was mixed with something worse, betrayal. Cold, hard betrayal. I finally forced myself to move, walking toward the car, my legs feeling like lead. Sarah. My voice cracked as I said her name. She jumped, pulling away from Jason, like she'd been caught stealing something. Oh my God. No, wait, Sarah started, her eyes wide, panic setting in. But I wasn't having it. What the hell is this? I pointed at the car, my voice shaking with rage. Is this how it is now? You and him? My heart was pounding in my ears. What happened to us, Sarah? What happened to me? Jason looked like he didn't even know what to say. He just stood there, awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. It's not like that, I swear, Sarah said quickly, her voice almost pleading. She was stumbling over her words, trying to explain, but I couldn't hear it. All I could hear was my heartbeat in my throat. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just... Don't give me that crap, I interrupted. How long, Sarah? How long have you been seeing him like this behind my back? I didn't. She looked down at the ground, ashamed. I didn't plan this. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I took a step back, my hands trembling. You're sorry? You're sorry for what? For betraying me? For kissing him in my car? Tears started to fill her eyes. I never meant to hurt you. It just happened. Jason and we've been talking and I don't know. I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want it to go this far. Something inside me snapped. You didn't want to lose me, but you were okay with losing me to him? I laughed bitterly, feeling a sick twist in my gut. This is it, Sarah. It's over. She reached for me, her voice breaking. No, please, don't say that. I never wanted this. But it didn't matter. My world, the one I had built, the one I thought was perfect, was crumbling in front of me. I didn't know who she was anymore. And I didn't know who I was, standing there, watching the girl I loved walk away with someone else. I didn't say anything more. I couldn't. I just turned around and walked away, feeling every ounce of my trust shatter with each step. The last thing I heard was Sarah calling my name, but I didn't look back. I couldn't. I don't know when it started, but everything feels wrong. The days since I saw Sarah with Jason feel like they've been stretching on forever. I try to go to school, sit through classes, pretend I'm okay, but it's like I'm not even there. My mind keeps circling back to the same thought. Why? Why did she do this? Why him? What was wrong with me? I can't focus. I can't concentrate on anything. The words from my teachers feel like they're coming from far away, and when I try to read the assignments, the letters blur together. Everything has lost meaning. I find myself staring out the window, watching people pass by, wondering how their lives seem so normal while mine is falling apart. It doesn't help that Sarah won't stop texting me. I see her name light up on my phone every hour, but every time I read her messages, the pain only grows. Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I can't bring myself to respond. I want to, but I don't know what to say. What could I possibly say to her? The girl I trusted, the one I thought I was going to spend my life with, had betrayed me. And for what? For Jason? You doing okay? Chris asks me in the hallway, looking at me with a weird kind of concern. He's been noticing my silence, but he doesn't know what to say. No one does. I nod, forcing a smile. Yeah, I'm good. I hate lying. Talk about it. I can't talk about it. Not yet. Later, I see Sarah again. She's standing by my locker, looking at me with those same pleading eyes. She approaches, hesitates for a second, and then speaks. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. Her voice is softer than it's been in days, but all I feel is anger. Didn't mean for it to happen? I laughed bitterly, my chest tightening. Are you serious right now? You kissed him, Sarah. You kissed him. I know, and I hate myself for it. I wasn't thinking. I don't know what happened. It's not like I wanted to hurt you. She pauses, looking down, her hands wringing together. But Jason, he's different. He made me feel like I mattered. I stare at her, my heart shattering all over again. So, what? I didn't make you feel like you mattered? The words come out sharper than I intended. Was I not enough, Sarah? She doesn't say anything for a moment, and when she looks up at me, I can see the guilt in her eyes, but also something else. She's still drawn to Els. She's still drawn to him. I'm sorry, she says again, but this time it feels empty, like she's not even sure what she's apologizing for anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, I mumble, turning away. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. I don't even know who I am right now. She reaches out to touch my arm, but I pull away. I can't. I can't do this, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. And just like that, everything I thought I had, everything I thought I knew about myself and my life is gone. The person I was before this, the person I trusted, doesn't exist anymore. It's just me now, standing in the ruins of something I can't fix. I walk away. I don't know where I'm going, but I can't stay here. Not like this. I spent the last few days in a haze. Every morning, I dragged myself to school, my thoughts consumed by everything that had happened. Every look I gave Sarah felt like 1,000 knives piercing my chest. I could see the regret in her eyes, but the damage was done. Jason, her betrayal, everything had shattered me. But today was different. I don't know why, but today something inside me clicked. Maybe it was the sight of Sarah standing by my locker, looking at me with that same tired expression. Or maybe it was the way I caught Jason smirking as I passed him in the hall. But whatever it was, it lit a fire inside me. I couldn't keep living like this. Not anymore. I found myself sitting alone at lunch, staring down at my tray, the clatter of conversation around me fading into the background. I wasn't hungry, but I was restless. My mind raced, pulling me in different directions. Should I forgive Sarah? Could I ever move past this? Or was I doomed to spend the rest of my life in a shadow of this betrayal? I clenched my fists under the table. No, I couldn't let this control me anymore. Revenge, it would feel good in the moment, sure, but I couldn't let it consume me. I wasn't that person. Hey, Chris said, sitting down beside me. He noticed the look on my face. You all right? I didn't answer right away. I didn't even look at him. Instead, I took a deep breath and said, I'm done. I can't keep focusing on them, on Sarah or Jason or the past. It's over. Good for you, he said, a small smile on his face. So, what now? I didn't have a clear answer, but something was changing. Now? Now I take control? I'm going to make them to be happy. I don't need anyone. Chris nodded. You got this, man. I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to. I was making a choice, a real choice. I wasn't going to waste my time trying to fix something that was already broken. I wasn't going to hold on to something that wasn't meant for me. I was going to show Sarah, Jason, and everyone else that I could do this on my own, and I would be better for it. For the first time in days, I felt a little lighter. I didn't know what the future held, but I was ready to face it. Alone, but stronger. The first few days after everything blew up, I spent mostly in my room, drowning in my own thoughts. But then something changed. I decided I wasn't going to let this break me. I wasn't going to let Sarah and Jason have that kind of power over me. So I got up, started working out, and spent more time on things that actually made me feel good. I signed up for extra study sessions, joined a gym, and began to care less about what others thought. It felt weird at first, almost like I was walking into a new life. But it didn't take long before I realized I felt stronger. Physically, sure, but emotionally too. I could feel it in the way I walked down the hallways now. People started noticing me, and not just for my car or Sarah's past attention. They were noticing the change in me. I'd catch people glancing over, some of them even smiling, like they could see it too, like they knew something had shifted. I wasn't the guy who would drop everything for someone else anymore. I was the guy taking control. You've been killing it at the gym, man, Chris said, slapping me on the back as we walked to lunch one day. I barely recognized you. I smiled. Feels good, honestly. He looked me up and down, his eyes narrowing. You're different, bro. In a good way. I guess I finally figured it out, I said, more to myself than to him. As I said that, I saw Sarah in the hallway, standing by her locker. She was talking to some friends, but when she saw me, she stopped mid-sentence and stared. For a second, it looked like she was trying to hold back a smile, but it quickly faded into something else. Jealousy, maybe? She waved me over, and I hesitated for a moment before walking toward her. Hey, she said, her voice soft, like she didn't know what to say. Hey. I glanced around, my eyes meeting hers for just a moment before I turned to look elsewhere. How's everything? Good. I've been thinking about what happened, and she paused like she was unsure if she should continue. I see what you're doing, and it's good, you know. I raised an eyebrow. It's not for you if that's what you mean. Her eyes darted to the ground for a second. I didn't mean it like that. She trailed off, and I could feel the weight of her words. She was still stuck on me, still regretful, but it didn't matter. I didn't think you'd move on this fast. I looked at her, my gaze more solid than it had been in weeks. That's the thing, Sarah. I didn't move on. I'm just moving forward. And you should try it too. I walked away, feeling a strange sense of peace settle in my chest. I knew Sarah was watching me, and I couldn't help but feel like I was in control now, like I was no longer a shadow of the guy she used to know. And Jason? His arrogance only grated on me more now. He watched me with a confused smirk, but I didn't care. I had better things to focus on. Myself, my growth, and the future. I had nothing to prove to them anymore. It's funny how quickly things change. Jason, the school's golden boy, is no longer the guy everyone fawns over. Not after what happened. The whispers started small, quiet rumors in the halls. But once Sarah and Jason's secret was out, it was like a tidal wave. Suddenly, he wasn't the charming athlete everyone wanted to be. He was the guy who stole someone else's girlfriend. And that was just the beginning. I couldn't help but notice the shift. As I walked through the halls, people's eyes seemed to follow me with a different kind of respect. I wasn't invisible anymore. It wasn't just the car or my cool factor. People were starting to see me for what I was, a guy who took control of his life and moved forward. I wasn't defined by Sarah or Jason anymore. I wasn't waiting for their approval. You're really killing it, man, Chris said one day during lunch. Everyone's talking about you. People respect you now. I smiled, but it wasn't pride that surged in me. It was something deeper, something I hadn't felt in weeks. Feels good, man. Just trying to do me. Meanwhile, Jason was unraveling. I caught him once in the hall, surrounded by a group of his friends who used to follow him like he was a king. But now they were looking at him differently. He was trying to joke his way out of it, but it wasn't working. The smiles were forced, the laughs hollow. I overheard a conversation between two girls as I passed by. Did you hear? Jason and Sarah? I can't believe it. He's always been such a jerk. Yeah, and Sarah? She's not the sweet girl she made herself out to be. Jason's fan base had shrunk rapidly. His perfect image was gone. No one cared about his athletic achievements or his popularity anymore. He had become the punchline of jokes, the guy who got everything handed to him, and then ruined it. As for Sarah, she kept trying to get close to me, but I didn't want anything to do with her. She came to me one afternoon, her face pale, her eyes wide with guilt. I've been thinking about what happened, and I'm so sorry, she said, her voice shaking. I never meant to hurt you. Please, can we just talk? I miss you. I didn't even look at her. It's too late, Sarah, I said quietly, my voice steady. You had your chance. You lost me. Her face fell, but she didn't argue. She knew. I could see it in her eyes. She'd lost me, and no amount of apologies would change that. She turned to leave, but not before I heard her whisper, I really messed up, didn't I? I didn't answer. It wasn't my problem anymore. Jason's downfall had started, and there was no coming back from it. And me? I was finally free. Free from the past, free from the pain. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I was exactly where I needed to be. I didn't expect to see Jason in the hallway, but there he was, standing just a few feet away. His usual cocky grin was gone. His shoulders were slumped, and there was a desperation in his eyes that I hadn't seen before. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "Can we talk?" Jason asked, his voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. I didn't answer right away. I didn't want to make this easy for him. Talk? About what? He shifted on his feet, running a hand through his messy hair. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I messed up, okay? I didn't mean for it to go this far. I know what I did was wrong. I couldn't help but let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. You didn't mean for it to go this far. You kissed my girlfriend, Jason. You think a simple apology is going to fix that? He opened his mouth to say something, but I held up my hand, cutting him off. No, I'm done listening to you. You think sorry is enough? You think I'm just going to forget what you did? That's not how this works. Jason's eyes widened. For the first time, he looked truly vulnerable. I was stupid. I don't even know why I did it. Because you could, I said, my voice cold. You thought you could get away with anything, didn't you? That I wouldn't care. That she wouldn't care. Jason stepped forward, his hands raised like he was pleading for me to understand. Look, I know I messed up, okay? I know I lost your trust. But I want to fix things. I want to make it right. I shook my head. You can't fix this, Jason. It's done. And honestly, I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done. I've moved on. He looked like he wanted to say more, but the words weren't coming out. There was nothing left for him to say. Jason, you'll figure it out, but not with me. I'm not your problem anymore, I said, turning away. You'll be fine. You always are. I walked away from him, not looking back. As I walked down the hall, I felt a strange peace settle over me. The anger, the heartbreak, it was all gone. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need his apology. I didn't need anything from him. What I had learned through all of this was that I was stronger than I ever realized. And for the first time, I was proud of myself. The past was behind me. It was time to move on. I've been thinking about how far I've come. A few months ago, I would have never imagined that I'd be standing here, looking at my life like this. It's funny how quickly everything can change, and yet how slowly you begin to heal. I see Sarah sometimes, walking down the hallway, her eyes always following me. But I don't feel anything anymore. No anger, no sadness, just indifference. She's left behind, and I can see it in her face. She hasn't moved on, and maybe she never will. But that's her problem now, not mine. You're different, Chris said to me last week, as we sat in the park sipping on sodas. You've really changed, man. You don't even care about all that drama anymore. I smiled at him. Yeah, I guess I have. You don't care about Sarah at all, do you? I shook my head. No, I've realized something. I spent so much time chasing after her, after what we had, but I forgot to focus on myself. And now I'm just focused on being better. For me. Chris gave me a thoughtful look. You're better than all of that, bro. You know that, right? I didn't answer at first, just letting the words settle in. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. I knew it. I remember a time when I thought I needed validation from others, from Sarah, from Jason. But I've learned that none of that matters. My worth doesn't come from how someone else sees me. It comes from how I see myself. And right now, I see a guy who's stronger than he was before. A guy who's ready to face whatever comes next. Are you happy? Chris asked, his voice breaking through my thoughts. I looked up at the sky, feeling the weight of his question. It wasn't about being overjoyed or thrilled. It was something deeper, something more grounded. Yeah, I said, a small smile pulling at my lips. I am. I'm finally at peace with all of this. I wasn't the same person I was when Sarah and Jason broke me down. I wasn't the guy who let betrayal destroy him. I had taken control of my life again. And for the first time, I knew what that felt like. True freedom. Sarah came up to me after school today. Her face was pale, her eyes tired. She wanted to talk, but I didn't let her get a word out. I've moved on, Sarah, I said, my voice firm. I'm not that person anymore, and you shouldn't be looking to me for answers. You need to find your own way now. She didn't argue, just nodded, her eyes filled with regret. But it was too late. She had lost me. I turned and walked away. The future was mine now. And nothing, not betrayal, not heartbreak, could take that away from me.